I'm here with Joanna Simon, an eminent author and also member of the Wine Gang. Joanna, we're at the London Wine Fair, the first day, right?
That's right, yeah.
And how's it coming along?
Oh, it's great. I mean, look how busy it is. It's fantastic. So many people.
Quite a few people.
Just visiting the stand, tasting the wines, looking at the Wine Gang reports.
And you have 100 wines here?
Well, in fact, yes, we selected 100, but I have to admit that inevitably one or two didn't turn up on the day. So it's just under 100.
Right. And you have some very surprising wines too, some wines that people are not used to tasting, I suppose.
Exactly. So we came up with various themes, that sort of new trends, and just the surprising wines were things that didn't quite fit into the trends we wanted to show. So we thought, well, we'd just make a category for them and call them surprising.
And the point of this tasting is?
The point of this tasting is the organisers actually like to put on a tasting themselves, so it doesn't belong to any particular company. The organisers do it, and they ask the Wine Gang to select the 100 wines. So every year there's a top 100 tasting, and for the last 3 years the Wine Gang have actually selected the wines from the wines that we've reviewed in thewinegang.com in recent months. So that's how we select them. We looked through, we chose our categories, then we looked at the wines that we'd recommended in recent months. We've got good scores out of 100, and then we got them in.
And that's it.
Yeah.
So in a way, this is a like prize-winning wine, so to speak. At least.
Yeah, it's wines that have got been highly recommended. Yeah.
How many did you go through to pick 100?
Well, we went through all the recent reports of the Wine Gang, so something like the last 4 months. So that would be 800 wines, I suppose.
Okay.
I suppose it was more than that actually, because we went back a bit to pick out some really high scores from wines that we knew were still available.
Are you working on a new book?
I'm not at the moment.
Okay.
I'm not at the moment. Time I did.
Yes.
I've been so busy doing everything else.
Okay. Well, it's great to meet you here.
And you.
Okay,
Enjoy
thanks.
it.
A lot of varied wines at this 100 tasting, including a Rotgipfler from Österreich, Austria.
I got
12.5 alcohol.
one new number.
I'm not sure if this is a cepage. Yes, the Rotgipfler grape, but it's a little spicy and very interesting. Actually, that Rotgipfler was a bit sticky sweet. Now we're going to try a Casa l'Apostole Semillon, pure Semillon from Chile. That's rather clear straw color. 2008 vintage. The L'Apostole Casa Semillon, 2008 vintage, is quite nice. It has a good freshness to it. There's good body. It's not too thick. It's not something you'd expect maybe if you're thinking of a New World wine with a lot of sun. It's not too heavy in any way. It's actually very refreshing. So I think this is a successful wine at this tasting. It's not cloying in any way. It's got good acidity, and it's a pleasure to drink. So cheers. Another interesting white that we had was the Tin Mine from South Africa. It's a mix of grapes. I'm not sure what they are actually. I'll be looking into that later. But it's got 13.5 alcohol. It's a little bit of a burnt aspect, but not too much so. It's just intriguing in that way. Maybe I shouldn't use the word burnt. Sort of more of a ashy kind of feel. There's also a hint of light spice and saltiness, which I kind of like too. It's refreshing. It's a good white. And who came up with this idea?
Well, listen, the idea wasn't ours. It was actually the idea of the London Wine Fair themselves. I think they had a top 100 even before we came along, but it was chosen, I think, by the fair organisers themselves. Just 100, kind of wines that they wanted people to taste. But they charged the Wine Gang with selecting 100 wines and have come up with a theme each year, and that's what we've done. This year we've got the 5 themes running. Things like natural and biodynamic wines is one theme. Wines from the Pinot family, so Pinot Noir, also Pinot Blanc and Pinot Gris. Wines from Shiraz and Grenache and the Rhone grapes, but from all around the world. So there are different themes running, and we've picked the top 100 in our estimation that to come along and taste today.
That's great. Yeah, I noticed one was aromatic too. Then.
With aromatic theme, these are kind of themes that we think are kind of either currently bubbling under. People that we talk to, consumers that we talk to, In terms of white wines, they're interested in the aromatic varieties. They like the Viognier and the Sauvignon Blanc and the Riesling, and these kind of aromatics are quite trendy, quite on as its natural wine, of course, and organic wine. And I think we've tried to tap into some themes that we think are going to interest consumers at the moment, and directions that we think kind of, you know, wine is going.
And also maybe price-quality ratios?
We have to consider that. I mean, the Wine Gang tends to concentrate on wines in the kind of £6 to £20 range. We don't really do the $3.99 specials.
Right.
We don't do the really fine wines. So we're in that kind of ballpark, and I think that is where naturally you get really good price, you know, quality to price ratio. But we've been conscious of that in this tasting too. I mean, there are wines here up to £14, £50 a bottle, but most of them fall into that kind of £7 to £15 kind of range.
Trying this,
Perfect.
the Yard, which is a Australian wine, Semillon Sauvignon Blanc mix, 2009. Saw a 12.5 alcohol, which is kind of, you know, interesting because you'd expect with Australian wines they're going to be 14 or something. The nose has a sort of a strange kind of burnt aroma. It's not a pleasing burnt aroma like ashes from a fire, but just kind of maybe a lot of embers. You know, it's not really inviting, but let's give it a try. It's better on the palate. It's not inoffensive. It has some character. There's good acidity. There's a little bit of peppery aspects to it, which are nice. There's some fruit, maybe white fruit, pear, apricot that's not really ripe, but good. It's an okay wine. It's not in the top 100 book, so maybe that's why it's not that great. You know, it's funny, I went through some of these white wines again at this top 100, and Tom was saying that the price point is between 6 and 12 or so. Some are more expensive, and man, you can taste it when it's more expensive, because I did some Viogniers that were okay. They were okay, I wasn't enthralled. And then I came across this wine, it's called Piro Pan Suave Classico Calvarino. I'm probably mispronouncing it. It's 70% Garganega and 30% Trebbiano di Soave. It's retails for £18, and it really tastes nice. It's a beautiful wine. Has sort of a white flower, white fruit aroma, and very pleasing. It promises good things, and it delivers the good things. Good body, good acidity. It's very tasty, and I'm going to just drink it and not spit it out.